So first off, we're going to go into Facebook and we're going to create your first name and last name within those blocks. So we will go with Luann Walters, and the email that I'm going to use for this, they prefer you to have a personal email rather than any kind of a business email. I'm going to use my business Gmail account, which is myvideovoice@gmail.com. And then you re-enter that. And then you'll create a password for that. Write that password down so you can remember where it is, as well as your login email address, which is what you've entered in. Then go ahead and enter your birthday. For the purposes of this, Facebook has started gearing your experience towards your demographic, towards your age. So I want to have us experience that as you would. So I'm going to make my date of birth 1939, and I'm a female, and then sign up. Now, it is asking, are your friends already on Facebook? And if they are, then you have the opportunity to say find friends, or maybe you're on Yahoo or you have another email service. And what this does is it allows Facebook to go and pursue with My Video Voice at Gmail. You're opening up your contacts within your email account to say, yes, sure. Now, if you're getting on for the purposes of connecting with your kids or your grandkids, then I'd say at this time you can skip this section. And we're going to say skip this step and then just go on so that you can get into your book. Now, what you'll notice is that's going to send you a lot of notifications. They're trying to make this as easy as they can for you and walking you through the process. So first off, notice that I have this desktop notifications that tells me that these desktop notifications are on. What are they? Well, it explains. My little daisy here. When you get a new notification, you will see it in the corner of your screen. You'll see what that looks like because I'm going to leave this on and show you at a future lecture how to turn it off if you don't want to be notified. So to be sure you get the notifications, you will now stay logged into Facebook on this computer, and if you're using a public computer or you don't want to stay logged in, simply click undo to turn off desktop notifications. That's an important point because you don't need to be logged in at a public library and have people be able to access your Facebook account. But assuming that you're on your own personal computer, I'm going to click on OK. Now notice up here, this says go to myvideovoice@gmail to complete the sign-up process. OK, and here's my Facebook email. I simply click on that, confirm my account. It's going to tell me that I have successfully confirmed my account, and now it has logged me in. There you have it. You've created your Facebook profile. Now let's move on to your profile picture and your cover photo. This is the heart and soul of Facebook, and it's really not very difficult to post. So I'm going to take you step by step through it and take snapshots along the way. Directly following this lecture will be your resource guide that you can print out for how to post. So when you open Facebook, it defaults to your home page. Remember your dashboard. We covered that in another section earlier in this course. In order to post, you first just need to click into the box. That's all you have to do. Click into the box and it opens up these options. So if you don't see these options, it means that you have yet to click into it. Okay, so you just click into that using your mouse. Now you can type whatever you want. You can share a text message. Make sure your spelling is correct, and if it's not, I'm going to show you how to edit. Share your message. And then you would just click on post. Now what I'm going to do though is show you how to add in a photo or a video, and it's the same process for either, so I'm going to show you with a photo. I can click right up here on add photos and videos, or I can click down here on the camera icon. So this one is readily apparent. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It takes me into my computer so that then I can choose what I want. I'm going to take this little picture of my dog. He passed away a year ago. He's a sweet, one of the best dogs in the world. I'm going to choose this, and then I'm going to choose open or insert depending on if you have a Mac or a PC or what type of computer you have. Then Facebook will automatically upload it. Now I can say something about this. Celebrating the best dog ever. Okay? If, however, I did want to add in somebody down here, I would simply click on Who Are You With and start typing their name. And it would pull, if they're my friend, it would pull them up, and then I can select them. Now in another tagging lecture, I'm going to show you that. I can also add in what I'm doing or feeling. So for example, if I am thinking about someone special, because that's my dog. Thinking about someone special, Nixie. I can also add in a check-in, which is where am I? Now these are areas that I have been to quite a bit. I teach at the Nonprofit Leadership Center of Tampa Bay. But I can also type in an address and it would find it for me and then put it up here. Or I could just say St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm not going to add in a location for this photo. Notice that when I hover over his picture, I have the choice of adding a tag. Now this adds a tag to the picture. This adds a tag to the post. So I could add a tag into this picture, or I could edit his photo. I'm not going to tag anybody right now, but I do want to edit the photo. So I click on Edit Photo, and then notice that it brings up a pretty vast edit feature and function. So if you've wondered, well, how do they add in those special filters? Well, notice that when I click on them, I could make him black and white. I could make it look like an older photograph using the vintage filter. I'm just going to keep it at original. I can tag from here. That tags the photo itself rather than the post. We're going to talk about that in the tagging lecture. Now, I can also crop, which I do want to do. The way I do it is, see these 4 circles that are right here? I just grab those and pull. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to crop this in a little bit more, and then I'm done with that. So I can come over to text if I want to add in something, and say that I want to add text. Then I can say, Nixie, best dog ever. I can make it smaller so that the text is smaller. I can turn it if I choose to, but I'm going to make it straight and a little bit smaller. So once I have it the size that I want, then I can place it. I can take this and move it down into the right-hand corner. Now I can add in stickers if I want to as well. I'm not going to for this particular photo, but they're similar to the emoticons. Emotion icon, we say emoticon, that you'd find elsewhere, and you can add in stickers right here. Now, like I said, I'm not going to do that, so I am going to come down and click on Save. Once I've clicked Save, it's readjusting that picture for me, and now I have it. And notice it put in thinking about someone special, because I had added in my emoticon. I have celebrating the best dog ever, and all I have to do is post. Once I have posted, if I say, oops, I wanted to add one more thought, or I misspelled something, if I come up to this drop-down box right up here, then I can come into Edit Post. That way, I can simply click on that. I can add in whatever furry friends are the best. And then I can click Done Editing, and by clicking Done Editing, it has rectified, it has edited, it has finished that post. And there you have it. Now I have posted a picture, I've edited the picture, I cropped it, and I added in a little caption for it. And so now it is out there. Now, say I change my mind, and at some point I think, oh, I don't really want to post that. I posted that same picture last month. Then I can come back up to this drop-down box, click on that little arrow, and right here where it says delete, that's where I will delete. Now it's deleting the post, so it's no longer there. I can start afresh by clicking into the box. That's always step 1. Click into the post box. And that's it. That's how you post. It's very easy to do. This is a great question, and it gets us into the heart of tagging. I'm going to talk about what tagging is in this lecture. In the next lecture, we're going to take a look at your settings, your tagging settings, to determine how you might want them set up. So when you write somebody's name in a comment like John, what that does is you'll notice it pulls up all of the Johns that I know on Facebook that are my friends, and it gives me the option to tag them. Now, if I were to choose John and I wanted to tag him in something, what does that do? John, love you. Well, if John were my brother and I wanted to send him this, my brother has my back, I could do it one of two ways. I could go through the share, which we've already seen, or I could just name him in this post, in which case other people would see me sharing it with my brother as well. Now, if I were to share this with him via the share feature, I could send it to him as a private message. Remember, that was one of my options. So this is really about how open do I want to be in sharing this post with somebody. So if I were to do this and I said share in a private message, it would go to John directly. If, however, I wanted to share it on his timeline, then depending upon his settings, if he's got his timeline settings set up so that anybody, the public, can see his posts, then anybody would see me share this post to him. If he has privacy for only his friends to see it, only his friends would see this post. It's something to consider when you're tagging somebody. If I tag him in here, then my friends will see that I've tagged him, his friends will see that I've tagged him, and also the creator of this post and all of their friends will see that I've tagged him. That's an important distinction. So if you're trying to make something private, share it directly. If you want to tag somebody because maybe there's a news article, maybe there's a special post that you were just having a conversation about and you say, hey, this reminds me of you, that's why you'll see people's names just written in there with no other comment, because it's a, oh, hey, we were just talking about this, or oh, hey, I thought you might enjoy this, and they get pulled into the conversation then. So maybe there are some comments made in the post that I also want him to see. So I don't just want to share it, but I want to put his name in the comments so he gets pulled into this entire post. There's the distinction. Again, sharing will let me share it strictly with him in a private message. It will let me share it to his wall so that only he and whoever can see his wall will see it, as well as the people that are my friends. And if I write his name in a comment, it opens it up one person further. He and his friends see it, myself and my friends see it, and the creator of this post and their friends will see that I've shared it with him. So that's what tagging does, and it actually expands the conversation further. You can tag a lot of people, and not only are you tagging them and whatever their settings are, maybe it's friends or friends of friends, but then you're also bringing them into this friend's conversation. I know it can get a little hairy, but just think of it this way. If you want it to be private, share it with them privately. If you want it to be open, you just want to draw their attention to the conversation, then you can write their name in a comment. And you do that, again, just by typing in their name. And Facebook will provide you with the list of your friends that you can then choose from. But tagging is a fun way to let somebody know that you're thinking about them. It draws them into the conversation, and it gives them access to the post without necessarily having to share it. And that's what tagging is. Now, let's take a look at how to set up your particular settings for privacy within tagging. What is social media? I thought we would start this course with that question because it's a good question. You know, it just kind of popped up out of seemingly nowhere about, what, 5, 10, 15 years ago? Well, social media has been coming for quite some time. And actually, if you really want to look at it in a broad sense, you could say that it started with the fax machine. What? Remember the fax machine and those big carbon rolls that would get all purple and everything all over you? Well, the fax machine was the first way of instantly connecting a very big world. The bigger we get, the more our technology has worked to serve us to bring us closer and closer and quicker for the communication that we need. So that's actually what social media is. It's a new way of communicating. It's fast, it's instant, and it connects with the speed of light. What has evolved from the fax machine into computers and email has actually been as a service for us in using our ability to reach out and network with all the people that we've met through our jobs, through our educations, through our social networks, to stay connected in whatever means we choose. Social media is actually a way for you to personalize your manner of communication. It doesn't have to be waiting for a phone call or placing a phone call. Now it's about picking up your phone, which we didn't see 20 and 30 years ago, and being able to look at it and say, oh, this is where Johnny is. Look at him taking a camel ride in Morocco. Amazing that we can see those kinds of things now. As they're posted halfway around the world, we see them where we are in our office or in the comfort of our living room. Social media is about freedom. It's about connection. It's about communication. But as I teach in every one of my social media classes, it's also about responsibility. You know, I've heard a lot of our friends say, what I don't like about Facebook is that people share everything and anything, and this generation just seems to want to expose their personal lives. Well, that may be true as well, but part of that truth is that they've grown up knowing how to share and what to share. Now, they don't always do it using the skill of their noggins, but they're able to communicate quickly and easily. Do you remember the days of pen pals? This is what Facebook makes me think of. The pen pal days when you could write a long letter, put it in the post, and then receive maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a letter from your pen pal. How many of you had pen pals? I did growing up. Now your pen pals can be worldwide, but you can talk with them instantly. You can talk with them via the internet, face to face, using cameras and Skype and FaceTime. You can talk with them via posts and comment and see what their world is like and see what their life is like. It's an amazing way to stay connected and to gain that kind of freedom. Social media has literally thousands of different types of mediums. You've heard of some of the bigger ones. Facebook, obviously, is the king of them all. Then you have Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram. There are hundreds. Some of them come, some of them go. Some of them don't even have a chance to make a name for themselves before they've dropped off the face of the planet. But the point is that social media is how we've evolved, and we're not going backwards. We're going to continue going with this connectedness of internet connectivity, high speed, instantaneous, posting, sharing, and being a part of our lives. What I think is vastly important is that we remember about responsibility. And I think where a lot of the fear comes in is that people are afraid that whatever they share and however they share might be misused. There's always the potential for misuse. But I think if you look at social media as a platform for freedom and for connectivity, then you understand that with that comes the responsibility of choosing what you post and how you post it, and how you respond to somebody else's post. I'm hoping to take away the fear and show you the fun that you can have with Facebook. So come on along to the next lecture and we'll take a look at exactly what Facebook is. So your family wants you to get on Facebook, but you're not quite sure what it is. Well, let me just use this to briefly tell you all the things that you have available to do. Within Facebook, I know people who don't even leave Facebook to search the internet, because you can search the internet from within Facebook. I know, it's like an internet within an internet. Why would you want to? Well, there are a lot of ways to stay connected. Again, remember, it's about freedom and the connectedness with other people. What can you do? You can find old friends. When I first got on Facebook, I looked up some college and high school friends and immediately found 30 the first night that I was on Facebook. I hadn't talked to them in years, and it was so much fun connecting with them and seeing their pictures, seeing what had transpired in their lives and just catching up. There's no way I would have been able to do that with any other means in one night than other than Facebook. You can connect with People around the world, as I mentioned, my sister and her husband and 2 children are off for a year traveling around the world, learning amazing things. Today they've just arrived in Italy. So this morning I got to catch up on, since we're a time change difference, what their day has already been like and where they've explored. I get to participate in that travel adventure and see all these new places that I've never been before. You can share posts with people and get them engaged immediately by tagging them. We'll look at that in a few other lectures on down the way. But by tagging them, you're bringing more people into the conversation so that they can comment together with you. Think of it like a tea party or maybe a bridge session where you're all coming together and you can all share things at once, but via the internet. You can send a direct one-on-one message to somebody, very similar to email. You have the freedom to decide what you want your Facebook to look like. It doesn't have to look like your child's. It doesn't have to look like your neighbor's. It doesn't have to look like your friend down the streets. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. And so that's what we're going to look at in this course. Just know that there's a lot out there and you don't have to learn it all. I'm going to show you some of the really cool features that others have asked about. And then you decide if you want to make them your Facebook. I know, you just get used to something and then something new comes along. You just learned how to file your emails or delete the emails or find out how to blind copy somebody on an email, and then all of a sudden a family member says, "You've got to get on Facebook." Well, you don't have to, but there are some advantages to using both. There are two different types of tools, although they do some of the same things. So let's take a look at this little walkthrough. Both email and Facebook let you email one person or multiple people. And you can also use attachments with both Facebook and email to attach photos or videos or even share links that will lead you directly to web pages. So what do each Facebook and email bring to the table? Well, let's take a look at Facebook. Facebook posts don't have to be in a message. You can actually talk directly to somebody and not share it with the world. But simply by putting that person's name, what we call a tag, it sends it directly to that person's page. So then they get the communication that you're looking for. It's like email, but then you don't have to unattach the photo or unattach the video. It's automatic and it's right there and available for them. You also can easily share that same post with multiple people by putting their names in or choosing groups, specific groups that you want to share it with, if that's appropriate. But let's take a look at the advantages of email. Email is a much more organized system. So when you're thinking about maybe it's a communication that somebody wants to file away or they want to be able to access it readily, Facebook's not built for that. You have to scroll and scroll and scroll to find something. Unless you choose to save it, you don't always know if you want to save that particular post. But with email, if it's from Brenda, you can simply drag it and drop it into Brenda's folder. So there are advantages to both. Think of it as email lets you compartmentalize and find things readily. Facebook is a way of immediacy, being able to very freely connect with somebody in a hurry. That's it in a nutshell, but it doesn't have to be either or. Start thinking of it as, rather than a substitution, it's a new tool that you can use and a new way of communicating. One of the top 10 questions that I seem to get asked almost in every class or one-on-one tutorial with someone about Facebook is, who can find me? The real parameters of this that we'll talk about in your Facebook profile are up to you, but start thinking right now. Who do you want to find you, if anyone? Example, maybe you had a high school friend 30, 40, 50 years ago, and you'd love to reconnect with that person, but she only remembers you from your maiden name, and you've used your married name for 40 years. How you put your Facebook profile out there will also determine if people can find you. If your name in high school was Ann Jones, but your married name is Ann Smith, they are going to pull up a lot of Ann Smiths that aren't you. So if you wanted to be found, for example, you could say Ann Jones Smith. That way, people who are searching from you would be able to see if that fit within the categories of who you are, depending on where you live, etc., which we'll walk through in another section. I have a friend who is a county judge, and when she got her judgeship, she decided that she didn't want to be found on Facebook, which makes sense because some of the rulings that she was having to make would not have made her a big friend of some people. So instead of using her name, she used her middle name and her mother's maiden name. And then those of us who were close friends that she wanted to connect with on Facebook, she said, here's my profile name. Legitimately, names that she could use according to Facebook's terms. However, it was also a means of protection for her. So there are any numbers of reasons why you may want to be found or you may not want to be found. And we can also determine who can see your posts or who can have access to your information based on some of the simple things that you can do within the parameters of Facebook. So the real answer to this question that I always give back is, it's not a question of can people find me or who can find me. It's who do you want to find you or who do you not want to find you? And that's how we would move forward with it. A question that goes hand in hand with who can find me is, can everybody see everything? Again, that's up to you. So for example, you have the choice of whether you want to share anything or nothing. Whether you want a post to be specifically for you and only you can see it, to be shared with certain friends and you can specify who they are, it might be just one person. Or you can also specify if you want to share it with the general public. Now, the catch to that, which we'll talk more about in how to post in the profile section, is that it also depends on if you are sharing with somebody else, that person may also have their settings set up to share with the world, in which case you've shared with just one person, but now they're sharing everything that they have with the world. So you've got to kind of know your friends. If there is something that's of delicate nature that you don't want to be shared or to be seen by everybody, then you need to find out kind of how your friends are using Facebook as well. And always keep the rule of thumb in mind. You know, again, I'll say Facebook is about freedom, it's about connectivity or being connected, but it's also about responsibility. So if there's truly something that you don't want to be seen, don't post it. Make that your general rule. See you in the next class. So can you get a virus from Facebook? Well, yes, you can. And usually it's not from Facebook because Facebook isn't putting it out, but your participation in the activity of Facebook is what can land you a virus. Malware, maliciousness, it's pervasive throughout the internet, whether it's Facebook or through email or whatnot. Now, this article in general is from a company called PSC International, and they talk about how you actually can get the virus, and most likely it's because of clicking on a link that maybe a friend had posted that was not legitimate, or maybe in a message, a direct message that was sent to you. Otherwise, Facebook is pretty good about closing out and shutting down the viruses pretty quickly. If we go a little bit further down, and it says, how do I prevent a Facebook virus? I've given you two links in the resource documents at the end of this section, but if you'll notice with this, they talk about really having a very good password in place, and that's going to be very important. They will also walk you through how to get rid of, right here in this section, how to get rid of a virus if you get one. Now, I've never gotten a virus on Facebook, and I'm a very active user, but I do know folks who have, and it's really about prevention. What I want to talk to you about in prevention is how can you prevent that is not just about having a good password, but being careful of any links that look a little off. They don't seem to be legitimate. They're not things that your friends would necessarily post. And if you question, wow, why did they post that? Then don't click on it, because it could be that their Facebook page has gotten infected. Or it could be that their computer has gotten infected and found their password within their computer to their Facebook and then launched through into Facebook from their computer, in which case that could come from your Facebook page if you clicked on it into your computer. So if something looks suspicious, rule of thumb, When in doubt, go without. Do not click on it if it looks at all suspicious. And if you do find that you've gotten any kind of a virus or your Facebook is acting up, follow the 2 resource links that I've included in the end of this section's educational resource PDF document, and there'll be a cure for you. Ads and notifications are a part of Facebook life. You can simply get to know them, you can get used to them, and oftentimes I don't even notice that they're there anymore. There are some times that you do want to notice that they're there. So let me just show you. I've logged back into my main account so that you can see, and I've covered up names to protect the innocent. But on the right-hand side here are all my friends who are currently online. Now I have blurred them out, but this is where a lot of notifications come of things that they like. If they've liked a photo, or if they've shared a post, or if they have liked a page, or they're following somebody new. Then over here I have ads, and a lot of times these ads are, you might have briefly looked at something online, and however they do it, they have figured out that this is what you're interested in, so they'll bring it back to you. Or maybe it's a post that you looked at previously on Facebook, and there is an ad that's being brought up. Maybe I looked at an ad that was posted by Amazon about a book, and now they're going to come back and show me that book again in case I want to purchase it. Or if I have looked up something about Verizon, anything might come to you, but it is specifically geared toward you. So if you find yourself interested in them, it's not a surprise, because there is a manner and a method behind it, even if it escapes the common layperson like me. Now, also you're going to want to pay attention up here and your event invites. People may invite you to events, they may invite you to play games, but you'll also have up here any birthday notifications from your friends. And so I just make a little habit of looking up here at the start of the day just to see and make sure that I'm not missing somebody's birthday, just so I can shoot them a quick happy birthday on Facebook. Everything else I pretty much ignore, and those are your ads and your notifications. You also have this number 18. What is that? Well, those are another form of notifications which lets you know when somebody has interacted with you. If they have commented or liked or shared one of your posts, or if they have sent you an invite to an event, everything appears right in here. And again, I'm blurring this out, but I just want you to be able to see that you can actually see all of your notifications from right up here with this globe. So if there are numbers around it, click on it and you can see the activity that's happened there. Otherwise, you can pretty much ignore the right-hand side of your screen.